Hey everyone, and welcome to BMX News, where there is so many people in the chat right now. I had to pin the message from Stony just now that said, at some point I started tuning in for the chat just as much as the news. So if you're not here before BMX News starts every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to participate in the chat, maybe consider it, because there's a bunch of people who hang out here all the time. Not all the time, but for a while before the news. So that being said, let's get into the news this week. There's lots of videos, lots of product related things, which I feel like have been lacking this week. Wow, there is a lot of people in the chat. We'll shout you guys out in a second. First up, we got a video from Pusher welcoming Jason Devu. This is a trails video. If you guys are into dirt jumps, people getting stylish, this is the one to watch this week for sure. Actually, there might be a couple, but this one is short and sweet. Lots of great tricks in here. No footers to X-ups. He did a suicide to X-up, I think. There's a lot of really great stuff in this one. Lots of good trails. Next up after that is a video from Matt Green called The Price is Right. It's from Boston, and the lineup in here features none other than a bunch of people: Lino Gonzalez and Brandon Began, George Duran, just to name a few. It's pretty sick. Let's shout out some people in the chat real quick. There's a lot of people in here. Stuart Gibson, Lip Lord, Taco Slurpees, Travis Schramm and Travis K as always, Ken Nichols, Sean Chambers, Peter Radke, hello from Germany, hello from Ohio. Huck Karinsky's in the chat, Stony of Old Fat Guy BMX, Kevin Jackson, Kyle McDonald is in here as well, and I appreciate all of you guys. So let's keep going here. We got the highlights from the Jibs for John fundraiser. This is a fundraising jam for John Schimpf. He had a serious accident, and there's also a GoFundMe, which is on the page that is linked in the description down below. They have raised over $50,000 for him. That is incredible. So check that out if you want to learn more and potentially contribute. We got a video section from the Wonderland video with Pasha Sitko. This is the video if you want to see someone who's super creative and using spots in ways that are just different and rad. This is the video. This is the one. Let's see if we can find an example. Look at this. 60-40 to crank flip around a bend. 60-40 to crank flip on its own is wild. This dude just did it around a corner rail. Then like, what? It's so crazy. Incredible. This is, if you know this style of riding, this is the video to check out. And then linked below it on BMX Union, there is the full video, which is 30 minutes long. After that, we got a video with JP Ross and Daniel Specht, split edit from Volume Bikes, and these do go in order of the length of them. Then we've got Mickey Fleck and Wame Sintez in Argentina. These two are like a dynamic duo in BMX right now, and I feel like it's been a while since we've had like a really, really well-known dynamic duo in BMX. I mean, you guys can list the ones from throughout the history of BMX, but I feel like it's been a while since we've had one in current time. Then we've got the Lux BMX crew putting together a video from a jam that the Fast and Loose people put on called the Nim Pinned Jam. It's a raw take on it, 10.5 minutes, so things are getting even longer here. Then Gustavo and Duda, USA Adventure. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name. This one's even longer than that. Over 10.5 minutes long from GT with those two. They're over here from Brazil. I believe they're both from Brazil, and traveled all over the place riding Woodward, and they're both at Swamp Fest, so I'm assuming that there'll be Florida footage in here as well. The wheel mill, all kinds of stuff in here, so check that one out. Then we've got a longer video for you guys. This one is 55 minutes long. DNS2, the Learning Curve full video. This was filmed over 5 years. Jeff Purdy put it together, and actually it was their whole crew. but Jeff Purdy's name is listed here. Don't want to get that twisted. So if you want something extra long, it's 56 minutes specifically. So moving on from there, we get into the product related things, and this is where I think a lot of people are going to get stoked. Taj is in a video riding bikes, doing tabletops, one-footed X-ups. He does a 5-tap on a dirt jumper. This is a video promoting Fairdale's Hair Razor 26-inch dirt jumper frame and rigid fork, which I didn't see the rigid fork in this video with him riding it, but man, I never thought I'd want a dirt jumper, but after seeing this, I kind of want the Fairdale dirt jumper. It gets me stoked, and that's exactly what a product video should do. Just so you guys can see. I mean, there's insight into designing graphics, looking at the frame itself, and then Taj being Taj. Footplants is a good one. Check it out. Then we've got a quick highlight talking about the vapor tire from Eclat. And now I know people are still a little upset at Eclat, but they're putting out a trails tire, and I feel like that's something that's not very focused on in BMX these days as much as it used to be. So I thought it was cool that they're doing this, and it's called the Vapor Tire. I think this clip came from the bike check with Tyson Jones Penny that we talked about. I think it was last week, and he just kind of highlights a little bit of the thought process behind it, talking about the tire itself, and looks like it could be good for some trails, so I figured I'd throw it in here. Then we've got REI Levinson going over his Purple Haze colorway and bike build that he is building up in this video. This kid is incredible. I, for real, am just a fan. Meeting him, riding with him, just an all-around shredder. Racing for street, trails, skate parks. Kid can do literally all of it, and it's been awesome watching him grow and get even better and better. Love it. Moving on from there, we've got a promo video for Killian Ross Shorty frame colorway. Lots of people getting colorways and videos coming out this week about it. This video, I don't think this dude has a chill mode whatsoever. This clip where he does this manual down a ledge, he's jumping off roofs and stuff. No big deal. But then this manual down this ledge, look at this ledge. Like I'm over here like, oh, it's gonna be sweet. He's gonna feeble down it and it's gonna be gnarly. Then he manuals down it. Mind blown. Check this one out. It's worth it. Then we've got Clint Reynolds talking about his grips from S&M. This is a really, really good video. He just goes in depth about the grips and is very professional about it and gives really great explanation. And there's a lot of riding in here. So if you want some more trail stuff, this is what I was talking about at the beginning, that there's more trails in here. So check this one out. And I'm sure there's at least one person watching right now that actually rides these grips because they're very comfortable. Next up, there is a GT and Pacifico 29er Performer that is, I believe, out, but just scroll through here so you guys can see the pictures. Spec list here, linked in the description down below if you want some more info. Pretty cool looking. Then we get into the interview type stuff. What's up, Austin Glauber? Thank you for tuning in from Sweden. Shout out to the 040 BMX crew, I assume. But we get to the interview stuff where a video came out, sorry, said your name wrong at first, where I made a video, I did an interview with Disabled Dan from over in the UK. He had to have one of his hip joints removed when he was 16 years old, spent 3 years in the hospital. Learn more and all of the details about it in the video, but I put together this like short documentary style video from the interview I did with him, and I'm super proud of how it turned out. So do me a favor and check that one out. It's linked in the description as well as it's on my channel. He's also a really awesome dude. Christian Navas in New York City. Is it safe to come visit New York City now? There was a lot going on there for a bit. Then, a couple nights ago, I talked BMX with Chris Doyle. We talked a little bit about Ray, the rider who I talked about last week in the BMX news video, who passed. Talked about him getting on S&M. Talked about the whole drama and craziness. Got that out of the way at the beginning. Talked about Brian Yeagle. So much good conversation about BMX, and I just really enjoy talking with Chris, and I think you guys will like this as well. Then we've got another Unclicked, this time with Colin Verignac. It is an hour and 50 minutes. The video or talk with Doyle was an hour and a half, and there is a list of what they talked about and the timestamps as well in here if you want to know more before you get into it. Then we've got Canode Knows. This is a weekly podcast with Bobby Canode, and he's talking this time with Dakota Roche, and it's a great one. I listened to, I think, all of it, if I'm remembering correctly. He talks about mental health in here. He talks about just wanting to ride good and longevity and all sorts of different stuff. So take a listen on this one if you want something even longer, because it's almost 2.5 hours long, and Bobby is paying them bills. Look at all them ads in there. Got to do it, man. It's how you are able to afford to do these things and make a living for yourself. So that being said, I'm checking out for the weekend. I'm getting ready to go down a little bit south here in Ohio and hit up some deer hunting. Don't care how you feel about it. I'm going to provide for myself and Victoria and my family, and I'm excited about it. So on that note, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go be gone. There's another video coming today at 3:30, and you guys can stay tuned for that. And I've got videos all weekend long, so hopefully we'll see you at those. And thanks for tuning in to this BMX news broadcast. We'll be here next Friday at 10 a.m. Shout out to the fact that there's 30 people in the chat for BMX news. Show up early and we'll be chatting in the chat ahead of time next Friday. See you guys there.